good if you want to. If you want to come
I
down.
kind of like. I feel like I'm a director of a movie or something.
There you go.
It's so
man.
legit.
It is. You should roll with it.
You need to put this part on there, like, hey. Well, if you've watched it, you know I kind of scream in the show. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Steve's Horse Show. Today, I am your taller host, and I have my guest, Britton, with me today. And don't let the size difference throw you off, because this is a very official director's chair.
Official. That
he has given me. And sometimes when we do this, there's no planning involved, and this is what we had. And I hope you're okay with it. Britton is going to talk about what he does here at Lazy E Ranch, and a little bit about what he does with horsemanship in general. Talk about what you do here at the ranch. Introduce yourself.
So, I'm Britton, as he said, and I've been at the E for about 17 years. One of the things that I do here is manage this particular barn that we're setting in, Barn 1, lovely facility, and Barn 2, so I've got about 80 stalls that I manage. Depending upon the time of year, we do brood mares during the breeding season. So I've got a bunch of dry mares in here. Lovely hormone time. And then we get to about May or June. And
he doesn't let it affect him too much.
I was raised with females, so it's kind of a natural habitat. And then when we get to summertime, we start doing sales prep. And so these stalls fill up with yearlings. And we get yearlings ready for Ruidosa, for Heritage Place, California, and different things like that. So managing this particular property with a couple other individuals, Joey and Candy help me out over here, and then we end up having some interns here that we hire, and so we have a big internship program as well. But yeah, that's what I do.
So I have to ask you this to begin with. If you had to pick one, the dry mares or the working with babies, which one do you like more?
Definitely the babies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have like a
struggle with that.
No, we have an unspoken
They're
rule
all standing
here.
right here.
I know. Look, she's agreeing too. We have this unspoken rule
like,
that I don't do babies. Like, I just don't do babies. I've never done babies. But it's just too many boundaries to get crossed. So I'm good with mares, and then when they get to like 16 months old, we're okay. We can teach them a little bit more. Setting some healthy expectations with teenagers, the Equus teens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like.
So you told me a little bit about the internship program. You just got back in the country from doing some stuff overseas. Talk about what you did on that trip.
So one of the things that has happened over the years is in that internship program, we've been challenged to try to get kids on task really quick. And the program that we run here,
program here,
right?
Gotcha.
The program that we run here is one that we're going to get kids from all over the United States and different universities and colleges. And so when they come in, everybody comes from a variety of backgrounds relative to their horsemanship.
Right.
As well as we get a whole bunch of yearlings here from a variety of programs. And so
got new horses and new people.
yes, yeah, it's like the perfect storm. And so one of the things that over the years I've learned to do is cultivate a conversation that essentially teaches horsemanship in a pretty concise and direct way. And it's not anything that I necessarily have created. I've just been able to kind of cultivate that conversation in a way that people can get it really quick. And so along the process then, in having so many different horses here, I've also learned that so much of that conversation is self-reflection, right? So horsemanship in and of itself is nothing more than communication.
Right.
And when we want to try to get a job done with horses, our goal is to try to figure out how to communicate our expectations to that horse in a way that they can understand it. And if they don't understand it, how can we adjust that conversation so that they know what we're talking about?
Right.
And so it's just sort of evolved really, really quickly for myself and my wife. She does life coaching. And long story short, we had an opportunity to go to Namibia. And some people over there are really kind of progressing into the Western discipline of things. They like to do some of the ranch horse versatility stuff. One of the guys is a big rancher over there, and so
they wear cowboy hats.
Actually, they did.
They did?
Yes, and that's how this whole thing evolved. They homeschool their kids, and a brother-in-law homeschools his, and so they had this little meeting where they dress up like different countries. And he was dressed up in Western attire, and my brother-in-law walks up and he says, "Hey, that's a pretty good outfit. Like that's a good costume. Where'd you get it?" And he's like, "No, really, we wear this." Right? So it cultivates in the conversation. We end up being able to go over there and do a clinic with
It's
them.
like my brother-in-law wears that costume every day.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it was a fun little connection point there. And so went over there, got to share some horsemanship. Yeah.
So talking about horsemanship, I guess what's your favorite part of teaching like the interns and stuff like that? About horsemanship, what's your favorite part of that?
For me, it is probably helping a person realize their potential. And one of the things that I noticed early on in this job was that oftentimes, especially in the interview, because I ask everybody to come on the farm and do an interview, right? So if somebody comes in and they're going to say, "Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 6 or I'm a 7, right? And so in their perspective, peer to peer, maybe they are. But their exposure to horses relative to what we do here on a commercial level is pretty minimal. And so when they have to understand what it takes to operate at this level, it's a huge adjustment.
Right.
And they come in and they start struggling with being able to accomplish the task, not because they haven't been versed, but because they've never been exposed to it
Right.
at this size and scope, right? And so immediately they back up and they start questioning their abilities, their self-confidence, their courage, everything about who they are gets in question,
Yeah.
right? And so immediately then it's an ask to say, that horse now owns your self-worth because you're walking out blaming the horse as opposed to saying, what role did I play in that?
Right.
And so for me, it's the biggest gratification is helping them understand they have the power in the moment to choose
It's just
how they want to see that situation.
Right.
Is it a defeat, or is it just an opportunity to say, that didn't work and I want to go back in and I want to do it again?
yeah.
And that's the very thing that I like the most about it, because every one of us are asking the same question every day.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Who are we and what can we do?
Yeah.
You know, and if we get caught up in the notion of I'm going to get gratified or I'm going to get validated by what you say I can do, then all of a sudden we've given away our power to
Right.
another person that is dependent upon our self-worth.
Yeah.
And horses are probably one of the greatest mirrors for human relationships in that regard.